All right, welcome back to the deep dive. It is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026.
hmm
And today we are lighting a candle for a very specific kind of cinema and really a very specific kind of artist.
We really are.
We've got a stack of sources here, and honestly, some of this stuff is going to weigh on you. It's heady.
Oh, it is. We're definitely navigating some dark waters today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, incredibly illuminating if you're interested in the psychology of fear.
Exactly. So we're looking at the legacy of a Hollywood icon who passed away just a few days ago on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Tom Noonan.
And then we're going to pivot to a broader list of films that kind of redefine what it means to be truly disturbed.
It's almost like a double feature, really.
Yeah.
First, we honor this master of discomfort.
And then we dive into a curated list from Slash Film titled 15 Horror Movies So Disturbing You'll Only Watch Them Once.
And that connection between Noonan and that list, it's stronger than you might think.
I think so, too, because Tom Noonan wasn't just some actor playing a part.
No, not at all. He understood that real fear isn't always a jump scare. Sometimes, fear is just a tall man standing too still in a quiet room.
So let's get right into it. The news first. Tom Noonan died on February 14th, 2026. He was 74.
Yeah, and the cause of death hasn't been disclosed, which, is his family's right.
Of course. But looking at the tributes pouring in from Variety, the Hollywood Reporter, there's this overwhelming sense of specific respect.
Specific is exactly the right word, because Noonan, he occupied this unique niche. He was often called Hollywood's gentlest monster.
And physically, you can see why he was typecast. Right, the man was 6'6".
Yeah, it was 6'5", actually, but yeah.
To 6'5", okay. Still, I mean, with this imposing angular face.
Right, if you're a casting director in the 80s and this guy walks in, you immediately think, villain.
You just hand him the script for the heavy. It's just how the industry worked.
But here's the aha moment with Noonan, and this is the key. He didn't play monsters like monsters.
What do you mean by that?
He played them like people who were desperately, painfully lonely.
Let's unpack his breakout role then, because this is the one that I think defines his whole method. Manhunter, 1986, Michael Mann's film.
Which is, the first time we ever see the Hannibal Lecter universe on screen.
Right. But he isn't Lecter. He's the active serial killer, Francis Dolarhyde.
The Tooth Fairy.
And if you haven't seen it, I mean, this performance is utterly terrifying. But we found this quote, and it just nails why it sticks with people. It was called Pitch Perfect. Somehow both utterly terrifying and heartbreakingly human.
And that is an almost impossible tightrope to walk.
It is.
Because Dolarhyde is a monster. He murders entire families. But Noonan plays him with this fragility. There's that one scene where he's just trying to have a normal conversation with a woman he likes.
Oh, yeah, with Reba.
And you can see him physically vibrating with the effort just to be normal.
It totally changes the dynamic of fear. You aren't just scared of him, you're almost scared for him in that moment. You feel the tragedy of his existence.
It's not a cartoon villain rubbing his hands together. It's the banality of trauma. Noonan made you feel that this monster was a victim first.
Which makes the violence, when it does happen, so much worse.
So much worse, because there's a human being buried under there somewhere.
He took that same energy, that soulful monster thing, and applied it to a completely different genre the very next year, 1987, with The Monster Squad.
A classic. An absolute
He
classic.
played Frankenstein's monster, and Fred Decker, the director, he posted a tribute calling it an indelible performance.
And you got to give credit to Stan Winston's makeup, too. It was just incredible.
Oh, unbelievable. But think about the challenge there. You are covered in pounds of latex.
Yeah.
You have barely any dialogue. How do you convey emotion?
It's all in the eyes.
It is.
Noonan had these incredibly expressive, sad eyes, and he managed to project this deep, centuries-old wariness right through all those prosthetics.
He really did. He made a movie that was essentially a kid's comedy.
Right.
Feel like a genuine tragedy whenever he was on screen.
Yeah.
He made the monster lovable.
But then, just to prove he could strip all that sympathy away. Like in RoboCop 2.
Oh, Kane, the drug lord.
That character is pure, chilling charisma. He's a cult leader.
That's the other side of the Noonan coin, isn't it? He could be the sad outsider, or he could be the smartest, most manipulative guy in the room.
And as Kane, he's so soft-spoken. He's almost like a guru. He peddles this drug, nuke, like it's salvation.
It's that cult leader energy. He never needs to raise his voice because he knows you're already listening.
And then, of course, for all the 90s kids listening,
Yeah.
Last Action Hero.
The Ripper.
Yes.
He plays a slasher villain who literally comes out of the movie screen into the real world. And honestly, for what is an action comedy with Schwarzenegger, Noonan is genuinely scary in that.
He brought a gravity to it. He played it completely straight. He didn't wink at the camera.
Yeah.
He was a slasher villain, and the contrast with the comedy just made him stand out even more.
Okay, so this is where we need to pivot to the counterpoint of his career. Because if you just look at the movie posters, you see scary guy. But if you look at his actual bio,
You see a brilliant intellectual. Tom Noonan wasn't just an actor for hire. He was a highly respected playwright and director.
he wrote and directed a film called What Happened Was in 1994,
And it won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance.
which is a huge deal. And it is not a horror movie.
Not in the traditional sense, no. It's a chamber drama. It's just two people, a man and a woman, on a first date in an apartment. That's a whole movie.
But I've seen it, and I would argue it's just as tense as Manhunter.
I completely agree. And this is the key to understanding him. Nina knew that social anxiety, the fear of being judged, the fear of saying the wrong thing, of not connecting, that is a horror story all its own.
He took the tension of a thriller and applied it to a bad date.
Exactly. And Karen Sillis, the actress who starred in that and his other film, The Wife, she called working with him a turning point in her life. She described him as crazy fun.
I love that. It shows he wasn't some brooding method actor. He was a creator. He was dissecting human behavior.
Whether he was a serial killer or a lonely paralegal, he was always asking what makes this person an outsider.
That outsider status, that's the through line. Even when he just popped up on TV, I remember him so vividly in The X-Files.
The episode Paper Hearts. He played John Lee Roche, a child predator.
Yeah, who stole souls by cutting hearts out of his victims' clothes. It's incredibly dark.
But the fan reaction we found, it sums it up. One person said he made you despise him through the screen with how cold he was.
And notice the difference there. In Manhunter, he was tragic. In The X-Files, he was just cold. He knew exactly how to calibrate that performance. He didn't play Roche for sympathy.
No, he played him as a void, a man with nothing inside.
And we see that same calibration in a much later role, T. West, The House of the Devil.
Ah, one of my absolute favorites of his. He plays the head of a satanic cult, but he doesn't have horns or chant in Latin.
No, he's just a polite older man sitting in a chair, asking the babysitter if she wants some pizza.
And it is absolutely terrifying because he creates this dissonance. His words are polite, but his presence is predatory.
Right.
He forces you, the audience, to lean in, to scrutinize every single movement. It's the art of the unsettling, just perfectly distilled.
Okay, so Noonan represents the human monster, the fear that is intelligent, quiet, psychological. Now we're going to shift gears and look at the other side of the coin.
The cinema of disturbance.
We're pulling from this slash film list of 15 horror movies so disturbing you will only watch them once. And the mission here is to understand why these films break us.
Right. And we need to define disturbing first. This isn't just about being scared. A roller coaster is scary. These films are traumatic.
The source makes a great point here. True disturbance often comes from a denial of catharsis.
Exactly. Most movies follow a structure. Tension, climax, release. The bad guy dies, the hero gets away, you go home happy. These films cut off that release. They leave you holding all that tension.
So let's look at the first category, the atmosphere of dread. These are movies where the air itself feels poisonous, and you have to start with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Tobe Hooper's masterpiece. Now, if you ask the average person, they'll tell you this movie is a total bloodbath.
They remember gore everywhere.
But if you actually watch it, it's almost bloodless. It's incredible. The violence is almost all suggested or it happens off screen.
So why does it feel so dirty and brutal?
It's the sensory overload. It's the Texas heat. It's the sound design, that constant grinding mechanical noise and the screaming, and specifically that dinner scene at the end.
Oh, the dinner scene.
It's a nightmare tableau.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like you've stumbled into a real madhouse and someone just left the camera rolling. It's the chaos that disturbs you, not the gore.
Next on the dread list, The Vanishing. And we have to be clear, we are talking strictly about the 1988 Dutch original.
Spoorloos, yes. Please, just pretend the Hollywood remake doesn't even exist. It portrays everything about the original.
The premise is just a pure nightmare scenario. A couple stops at a gas station, the woman goes in to buy drinks, and she never comes back.
And the boyfriend spends years, obsessively searching for her. The horror isn't some guy with a chainsaw. It's the unknown.
It's intellectual horror.
And the source points out that the need to know, the desperate curiosity, it eats the viewer alive just as much as it does the character.
And the ending. We won't spoil the specifics, but the ending gives you the answer you've been searching for.
The answer is so bleak, so final, that it just destroys you. It is the ultimate example of be careful what you wish for. Zero catharsis. Just a cold, hard period at the end of the sentence.
Okay, moving from dread to something sharper, this category is the extremes of human cruelty.
Yeah, these are the hard ones. These are the movies that make you question your faith in people.
Starting with The Girl Next Door, which is based on the true story of Sylvia Likens.
Which is one of the absolute darkest chapters in American crime history.
Yeah.
A woman takes in her nieces and then, along with the neighborhood kids, just tortures one of them.
And the source highlights something really important here.
Yeah.
The horror isn't just the violence itself, it's the total failure of authority.
That's the key. It's the breakdown of the social contract. You have adults committing these atrocities, and the people who are supposed to stop it, neighbors, the police, the community, they do nothing.
It strips away that childhood belief that grown-ups are in charge and will protect you.
Exactly. In a similar vein, you have The Entity. It's a supernatural film about a woman being assaulted by an invisible force.
But the real horror is bureaucratic.
It's institutional horror. The protagonist goes to doctors, to psychiatrists. She says, this is happening to me, and they look at her and say, no, it's not. You're crazy. You're imagining it.
It's pure gaslighting. The disturbance comes from the dismissal of her trauma. It's a very real-world fear screaming for help and being told you're imagining the fire.
Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, the new French extremity. This was a wave of horror in the 2000s that just went for it.
It broke every rule. We have Martyrs and Inside. Let's talk Martyrs first. It is relentlessly violent, but the source argues it's actually philosophical horror.
Which sounds like a contradiction, I know. But the villains in Martyrs aren't just torturing for fun. They're trying to torture a young woman to the point where she transcends pain and sees the afterlife.
They want to create a martyr. The violence has a thesis statement.
Which is terrifying. It asks, is there meaning in suffering? It forces you to endure the pain alongside the character to see if there's an answer. It's an endurance test for your soul.
Inside.
Oh, that's just pure visceral horror. A home invasion on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
a pregnant woman. It attacks the body, the home as a sanctuary. It's just primal adrenaline and fear.
And then the list goes to The Absolute Edge, a Serbian film.
The angry film, as the source calls it.
And we won't describe the scenes. They involve things that should never be filmed. But the argument is that it's political.
Right. It's an allegory for the state of Serbia at the time. The director was basically screaming, this is how our government treated us. They exploited us, debased us, made us do unthinkable things for survival.
The movie is designed to be repulsive.
It's art as a weapon, but it's a weapon that hurts the viewer, too.
Okay, let's move to our final category. Existential and modern nightmares. These aren't about torture basements. They're about the entire universe.
Cosmic horror.
We have Aniara, a sci-fi film about a spaceship that gets knocked off course.
And this is my personal nightmare. They aren't attacked by aliens. They don't run out of fuel. They just drift. They can't turn around. The ship is basically a giant shopping mall floating into an endless void.
The monster is time.
And scale. It's the slow, dawning realization that we are nothing. The horror is watching society on the ship slowly crumble as hope just evaporates over decades.
Then there's When Evil Lurks, a possession movie where all the rules are broken.
Right. Usually in a possession movie, you have a safety net, right? You've got a priest, a crucifix, holy water.
A way to fight back.
When evil lurks, God is dead, or at least he's not answering. The prayers don't work. The institutions we rely on to fight evil are completely useless.
It's just chaos.
It's the fear of having no safety net whatsoever. It's the realization that you are completely on your own.
And finally, a movie that hits very close to home for all of us. The Sadness. A pandemic film.
But it turns the exploitation dial to 11. The infected don't become zombies, they become violent sadists. But the source points out the real horror.
What's that?
It's a mirror of selfishness. The infected don't just kill, they take pleasure in cruelty. It's an extreme exaggeration of what we see in the real world, people prioritizing their own impulses over the safety of the entire community.
So we've covered a massive spectrum today, from the quiet psychological depth of Tom Noonan in Manhunter to the absolute nihilism of The Sadness.
It's a lot to process.
It is. So how do we synthesize this? What's the connection between The Gentle Monster and this list of truly disturbing films?
I think it comes down to the concept of control versus chaos.
Okay, break that down for me.
Tom Noonan represented the fear of the outsider. But his characters, Dollarhide, the cult leader in House of the Devil, they were intelligent. They had a plan. They had a logic. Even if it was twisted, it was a human logic.
It's a fear you can almost understand, a fear you can sit in a room with.
And the list. That list is the total loss of control. It's the void of space in Aniara. It's the failure of the police and the girl next door. It's the unstoppable virus in the sadness. It's the deep fear that the universe is just indifferent to your suffering.
So Noonan is the monster in the mirror, the dark side of humanity, and the list is the monster outside the window, the chaos of the world itself.
Precisely. And the reason we watch these things, the reason we engage with disturbing cinema, is that it forces us to confront both of those things. It strips away the polite lies we tell ourselves about safety and control.
It's like a rehearsal for anxiety.
It is. It validates those dark feelings we all have, but are maybe too polite to talk about at dinner parties.
Before we sign off, I just want to leave you with a final thought. We've talked about chainsaws, demons, raging viruses, the infinite void of space. These are loud, screaming threats. But think about this. In a genre filled with all of that noise, why is it that the image of a 6'5" man simply sitting in a chair and talking calmly, like Noonan did in the House of the Devil, why does that remain one of the images we just can't shake?
Perhaps because, unlike the zombies or the ghosts, it feels the most possible. You probably won't get lost in deep space,
Right.
but you might just meet a Tom Noonan.
And on that note, rest in peace, Tom Noonan. You made the shadows a little more interesting. Thanks for listening.